Okay, so here we are with our next video. This is based on concept of national interest. So before we move into concept of national interest, we should see what were the questions asked previously in the mains examinations of PSIR optional. The question asked in 2022 is national interest is a contested concept and comment on that. Another question is explain the interest and methods devised for the promotion of national interest. This was asked in 2016 and it was asked for around 20 marks. So let's see how should we answer the question or what is the essentially the concept of national interest. So defining it simply says general and continuing ends for which a nation acts can be called as national interest. So if it's still not clear, we'll move on and see it into depth. Please do not worry. So Joseph Frankel, as a scholar, as you need to mention the scholars in the paper, he says that there are two approaches to explain national interest. The first one is subjectivist and another is objectivist approach. So it is said that national interest can be defined objectively, मतलब एक certainty के साथ उसको define किया जा सकता है, but since it keeps changing with time, it keeps changing with the geopolitical scenarios, it is subjective. And हम इसको देखेंगे कैसे. For example, जो इंडिया है, so USA before 1991 USA did not support India and USA supported Pakistan. But अब जैसे चाइना राइज हो रहा है, चाइना is getting powerful and is getting richer day by day, तो US is concerned about its own hegemony. तो उसके लिए यूएसए को इंडिया को सपोर्ट करना बहुत ज़रूरी है. और इसीलिए हम एक एग्जांपल देख रहे हैं कि यूएसए हर किसी पे कैट्सा सैंक्शंस लगा देता है. यूएसए पुट्स कैट्सा सैंक्शन ऑन ऑल दोज स्टेट्स विच परचेज द मिलिटरी ग्रेड वेपन्स फ्रॉम यूएसए का राइवल स्टेट्स. बट इन केस ऑफ इंडिया, US Congress has not applied CATSA sanctions. So this is because ये यूएसए के नेशनल इंटरेस्ट में है. और एज जोसेफ फ्रैंकल सेज कि सब्जेक्टिविस्ट होता है नेशनल इंटरेस्ट, सब्जेक्टिव होता है एंड इट कीप्स चेंजिंग विद टाइम. ऑब्जेक्टिवली यू कैन डिफाइन एज जनरल एंड कंटिन्यूइंग एंड्स फॉर विच अ नेशन एक्ट्स, बट इट कीप्स चेंजिंग with time with changing geopolitical scenarios. Okay, so moving on, यहाँ पे we have फंडामेंटल इंटरेस्ट, मतलब नेशन के जो फंडामेंटल इंटरेस्ट है, ऑब्वियसली प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ फिजिकल बाउंड्रीज, पॉलिटिकल स्टेचर, कल्चरल आइडेंटिटी अगेंस्ट एंक्रोचमेंट बाय एनी अदर नेशन. तो एक ऐसा स्टेटमेंट बोला जाता है इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस में कि देयर आर नो परमानेंट एलाइज और एनिमीज, देयर इज ओनली परमानेंट नेशनल इंटरेस्ट. So we'll see moving forward, there are national interests can be categorized into two different categories. The first one is vital interest and another is non-vital interest. अभी vital interest वो होता है जिसके लिए state can go to war, मतलब they are that important that state can actually go to war to protect these. For example, security and survival of state. जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल रशिया क्लेम्ड दैट नाटो का ईस्टवर्ड एक्सपेंशन हो रहा था एंड दैट मोटिवेटेड देम और इंस्पायर्ड देम टू अटैक ऑन यूक्रेन. तो दिस इज वाइटल इंटरेस्ट फॉर रशिया, क्योंकि उनका एक साइड से बाउंड्री कॉम्प्रोमाइज हो रहा था और नेटो और रशिया आर कॉन्फ्लिक्चुअल entities. That is why Russia has went on war with Ukraine, because वो जो security and survival of Russia is a vital interest for that, and another is non-vital. For example, economic security uh, and friendly relations with other nations. तो ये एक्चुअली स्टेट के लिए इम्पोर्टेंट तो है, बट इतना नहीं दैट स्टेट विल गो ऑन वॉर फॉर दीज, एंड दैट इज वाई दीज आर said to be non-vital interests. Okay, So moving on, how do we secure national interests? There are various methods or various uh, you know approaches to secure national interest. The first one is hard power projection. It is military made. If you have studied previously realist theory, you know that realists emphasize on hard power projection. तो मिलिट्री से मिलिट्री पावर से मिलिट्री माइट से हमारे नेशनल इंटरेस्ट सिक्योर किए जा सकते हैं. अनदर इन इज इकोनॉमिक मीन्स. फॉर एग्जांपल, चाइना ने श्रीलंका को बहुत सारा कर्जा दिया है एंड दैट इज वाई श्रीलंका इज obliged to follow China's steps. So that is known as debt trap diplomacy by China. So economic means is one of the method to secure your national interest. Another is alliance and treaties. If you are regularly following current affairs, you must know about Quad. तो Quad जो alliance है, जो NATO का alliance है, that is it is one of the examples to it is one of the methods to secure your national interest. And another is propaganda. सो जब भी हम कश्मीर के बारे में सुनते हैं तो वी सी दैट पाकिस्तान हैज़ पुट अप HR ह्यूमन राइट्स वायलेशन एलिगेशंस ऑन इंडियन पॉलिटिकल सेटअप, ऑन इंडियन लीडरशिप, कि कश्मीर में इंडिया वाले काफ़ी ह्यूमन राइट्स वायलेशन करते हैं. दिस इज़ प्रोपेगेंडा बाय पाकिस्तान and it is one of methods to secure their national interest. Another one is diplomacy. There are various types of diplomacy, that is back channel diplomacy, subtle diplomacy, peripheral diplomacy. ये अलग अलग टाइप ऑफ डिप्लोमेसी है जो जिससे डिप्लोमेसी इज टॉक्स बिटवीन द टू नेशंस और टॉक्स बिटवीन बायलैटरल और मल्टीलैटरल टॉक्स बिटवीन नेशंस. दिस ensures national interest. So if you are following current affairs, so you must be knowing that Modi said that this is not a prime minister, respected prime minister Modi said that this is not the era of war. This is era of discussion and deliberation to resolve issues as far as Ukraine Russia war is considered. So these are the methods to secure national interest. Okay, so different scholars have put forward their views on how to serve the national interest. The realists, obviously, as you know, core concept of a realist, they wish to project the national interest by projection of hard power and taking an offensive stance, creating a preponderance of power. Neoliberals advise to pursue the national interest by soft power because liberals always believe in institutionalism, the importance of institutions at global level. And there is Joseph Nye, who has given the concept of smart power, that is combination of hard and soft power. We'll see that in some other video, but these are the various conceptions of how to serve the national interest. And that is why uh, there are various methods to serve the national interest, and it is very important for a nation to be in the global arena, to be present in the global arena as an important entity. It is very crucial for them to serve their particular national interest. So that is all from my end. If you like this video, please put up a thumbs up, and if you have any doubts, please comment below, and I'll be glad if you do subscribe. And thank you.